Hello and welcome back to Talking Void, where we talk void and stuff. Welcome back
Yes.
to TV. That's what I was trying to say, I think. I got distracted. Jin, can you tell me what's on your head?
It's the same as always. Just the headphones.
Yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
that's what I'm seeing. So, it's the 10th of November. It's 9 o'clock in the evening. And it's, as you all know, because each of us has a calendar, Cover Your Third Ear Day. So that's what I'm doing. And that's what Jin's doing. We both have our headsets on, covering our third ear. So we don't suffer from any noise pollution. And that's about it.
Which
So
is
it was a
super.
fun episode. Let's do the outro. No. We're just getting started, Jin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we start the whole livelihood of this chaotic episode, probably not as chaotic as they used to be because we are getting more professional with these kinds of things, as you can see from my decorations. The decorations on my head to cover my third ear. We do some socials before we play the introduction to the show. And what I was going to say is that we are building an ever bigger community, but we are not always seeing that when we are streaming because that progression is a bit slower than the other stuff. And if I go onto the YouTubes and the whatever, I always see that a lot of people are watching the videos but do not click on the follow button, and the follow button is what helps us out. So if you can, please do. If you know people who want to watch these kinds of shows, which are intellectual, far superior to anything other you've ever seen on, everywhere, anywhere, then
And who really appreciate noise suppression, which
yes,
is important.
noise suppression is important. So please tell them about us and say that's quite easy just to follow us so they get a notification when we go online and the stuff. So follow us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram because there you can see some other stuff about us. We have the Facebook and we also have the Discord, which is getting filled up with all kind of cool content. Recently added our first piece of fan art, which was produced by us, so that's weird. But anyway, it's a great picture of Solwing as a Flappy Bird, or something. I don't know. I was inspired when I saw it. That's what I was trying to say about this. So send us your 10th of November cover your third ear screenshots for the next episode, and let's start this episode off by going into the Talking Void introduction. Jin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's wrong. It's wrong to do so. I forgot that it was covering your third ear day yesterday. It's on the 9th of November, so I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Now I have this. It's all pressed into my face. I don't know if you can see it, but I should have done it yesterday on parallel projections. Our show that's on the other Monday than our other show, the Precipice of Dreams, which we'll be discussing here. But they're all connected. They're all connected, and they're all cool. Anyway, so awkward. Yeah, very awkward, man. I just thought let's go into this episode with a clear idea of what's going to happen in our heads, and I even covered up my third ear for that, and that wasn't even necessary. Sorry, guys. Is this a talk show? Because I'm scared. Yes, it is a scary talk show. It has a lot of 4+ content to it. Yeah, and I'm hoping you will not be as afraid as you could be. Is that right? I think so. It's right. So, Djinn, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You are here for the third time. That's because we are on our 11th episode. And that's because we've had 11 official episodes of the Precipice of Dreams, and we follow this show after that show, and we discuss that show, and we do things, and we have this main topic. And what's our main topic this evening? It is, what is your favorite type of character to play, and why? So now I'm going to talk like that the whole show, because it sounds so cool in my own ears. So, Djinn, can you tell me, are you going to enjoy the show, or aren't you?
I think I am going to enjoy this show. I'm just following your voice volume here. I can't do it as well as you do, but I'm going to enjoy it.
Okay, well.
So, although I told you before, I thought it was a tough question.
Yeah, you thought it was a tough question. Well, can I tell you something about what people think is a tough question?
Yeah, please do.
Not this question. Previous episode we had a difficult question that was so difficult that I could hardly get 3 answers out of people. Do you know how many answers we got this time? Hey, Beckett. There's Beckett in the chat, and one of his
Hello.
answers is his. So thanks for joining us, Beckett. Well, do you know how many answers I have this time?
I know it's more than one.
Shall I tell chat? Shall I tell chat, Djinn?
Yeah, you could.
Okay. We have about 200 answers to this question.
It's become more even than I knew.
Yeah. That's because we had some on Dutch 20. Shout out to Dutch 20. Some on our Instagram. Shout out to Instagram. All of Instagram. I don't know why. And we had some on the Facebook Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition group. Yeah, it's a group. And so that's quite a lot. And I asked the question like the day before yesterday, but Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition has a period where they review your question, and then it got online last night or something, and I woke up and the first 80 answers were already there, and I thought, man, I have to do this stuff tonight. How am I going to get all this content into the show, especially because it's my daughter's birthday today, so it was quite a different day. Yeah, luckily she had to go to school, so this was great. And I was honestly amazed, says Beckett. Yeah, I was amazed as well, but you're amazed at other things, and that's okay too. But I liked everything like a maniac. I read through it all. I made a compilation about the first 80 questions that were on there. I made a compilation of the things that were said on Dutch 20. I gave that a bit more space because they were larger answers at the most, and I've picked a few out that we'll be discussing in more detail. Yeah. So, strange day, cool day. My adrenaline is pumping through my veins, is what I'm trying to say. And you can tell because I'm going on and on, right?
Feels like pumping. Like, yeah. You're going for it.
So the number 200, does that tell you anything, Djinn?
Not specifically.
Okay, then we are going on to the next question. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Let's discuss the experience so far, because I thought it was pretty funny to make a sort of the experience I had this morning, and the experience I had at Parallel Projections yesterday, because I did that with Michelle yesterday, and it was a great episode. We had a lot of interaction with chat. And I thought, man, some things are really changing. We are getting to know some other people out of the community on a light basis. But for example, again, Careful Cantrip is in the chat, so I like that very much that he is here. And I don't know if it's just him or it's a group who shares this. I don't know. Doesn't matter. And we are growing, and I'm getting more and more excited while we do these free shows that we have. So I was wondering, talking about how this affects our lives. The streaming stuff. That's what we are going to discuss. Talking about how this affects our lives, the streaming stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's being online a lot.
Yeah.
Especially, I think that probably not a lot of viewers, especially the ones that I don't know me, because I'm not really an online type of person. So I've been a lot of onlining during these times and months, and I do appreciate streaming. At first I was nervous, but now it's just becoming...
Would you say that at first you were afraid and that you were petrified?
I could go there.
That you could never live without me by your side? And then you just spent also many nights thinking, well, this is so cool. And then you grew strong, and then you learned how to stream along?
Yes, and I wasn't petrified anymore. I felt safe and secure. Not in your arms, because we're doing social distancing, but still safe and secure.
It's my third ear mind arms that you're in, Djinn.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's how it affects you. You're getting used to the online streaming D&D playing with an audience thingy. I have to say thingy at least once in an episode. Sorry, guys.
It's an important word.
Yeah, it's an important word.
I might say it later too.
Yeah, you can. I don't mind. It's not copyrighted. But you're getting used to it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm getting used to it, and I always like it. If sometimes I even met someone who told me that he liked the show, and I didn't know that they were watching, and that's always a nice comment. And I appreciate if people like what we're doing. And I'm feeling more and more comfortable. And actually, sometimes, especially with the D&D, I sometimes forget that we're streaming and I'm just playing the game, and that's the main reason for doing it for me. So that is cool, but I'm really happy that other people enjoy it too.
Yeah, I think true. Chat is enjoying it. For those that are awake at that time, Careful Cantrip will be streaming at 2 a.m. European time, if I'm correct. Yeah, there's another shout out from Michel. So I recognize what you're saying, because when we started this whole thing, we wanted to play as we do around the table. We soon found out that there were some complications, and that it is always different than playing around the table, because you have to stay connected. You have to prepare in another way, at least in the way we are trying to do the show. And there's a bit of stress involved as well, although that gets less and less. I now only have stress before the show starts. I don't have stress during the show anymore, and that's great, because and what I also see happening is that at first it was the role playing that took up most of my effort when we're playing. Now it's starting to be the preparations that are taking more of the effort, because the role playing is going well, the combat is going well, the interactions are going well. We are having a laugh. Things are coming to are more towards how we are used to play around the table, and still it's a show as well, and we have these great climaxes in every episode for some reason, I don't know why, and every episode gets more and more interesting as well. And now the preparation is starting to leave. I'm getting used to some of the preparation, which allows me to take on more of an effort in other parts of our streaming service, like go out to the Facebooks, for example, or go out to a community and interact with people on social media. Watch a couple of other shows, like again, sorry for the other shout out, like Careful Cantrip, to really get into the community. And my head was too full when we started this endeavor. And now that's possible. And the interaction is great, because yesterday, I have to say it again, on Parallel Projections, where we play Planescape Torment, we had such a large interaction with chat that it felt like part of the show, and we were getting to know each other and everything. And this is the other show where we can get to know our chat, but it's going so quickly that I'm starting to miss things that are happening there. So that's cool.
I'm going to honestly admit that I cannot do it. I cannot read chat and have these conversations at the same time, because then I'm going to be completely unfocused. Like two things at the same time online.
Yeah.
Maybe in a year or so.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example of what's happening in chat. The most splendid ones. Ricky Rao says, wow. Michel Kwak does this emoticon twice.
No.
Yes, and Mireneas says, yay, community.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yay, community. I agree. Thank you.
Yay. Community. Yeah. And the best part of the streaming is the community we've met. Like you guys. Hard, says Careful Cantrip again. So enough about Careful Cantrip. Let's talk about Careful Cantrip and Bucket and Donker Rups and everyone who is in chat. And let's start with our reflection on the last episode. A little bit of spoilers ahead, but I think you should have seen the show by now, and if not, maybe this might trigger you to watch it afterwards on the YouTubes. And yeah, what did you think of the last show, Djinn?
Oh yeah, the last show I was actually really into my zone, so I really enjoyed it a lot, because like we said, there was a preparing phase, and now it feels like execution phase, like we're doing it, and I'm also feeling the story more and more, and I was actually more nervous about our prospects, because we ended the session before in quite a predicament, but that worked out a lot better than I expected, and we even progressed in the story some more than I would have expected. So there was a lot of news, a lot of excitement. The interactions between the characters were great for me personally. So yeah, we're always saying like we're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons and have a lot of fun doing it, and that was exactly what last session was for me. Like it was everything I need from my session and a little bit more.
Nice way to say it. I really loved it when you didn't answer Bowen because you were 20 yards away. I could have some positive influence in this conversation, and you were searching for your darts. Well, and the funny thing is that while you said no, I'm 20 yards away, I'm searching for my darts. You were so happy about it. So unless you really speak up, then
No, but it was funny, because what I think nobody really realized was that I was closest to death of the entire party, and you were like healing all our enemies while I was almost out for the count. And I think in my role play that got me to some place like, okay, I need to recover myself, I need to be a little bit zen. These humans, maybe a little bit like healing our enemies instead of our friends, so I'm just going to do my thing, ignore the rest. And that for me that was funny. And then when I came back and joined the conversation, it felt also like a really good time to butt in. So but
Popping
I
them
do
up against the stones.
Yeah, no, but actually that interaction between you and Nielet was right.
Yeah,
It was.
You're confusing names, Oldreef. Mixing campaigns.
I'm
How
going
cool.
to do this more often, but only in this show. Only in this show.
Only in this show, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. But with Oddleaf, and it was so intense, and it really that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to butt in, because I was just curious where it was going to go if we didn't have a third party or more of a balance in that conversation. And yeah, that was awesome. Really awesome.
It was awesome. Bowen was very glad that Thomas at least tried to help and cure the dying people.
That was beautiful as well. It's such a nice guy, that Thomas. I'm really seeing this bond between you strengthen under these circumstances.
So it's only because my wisdom is high as Bowen that I have at least some perception, but I try to play him as never seeing anything that's happening around him. But he is a great investigator at the same time, you know. When he gets focused, he's really in there. And I just loved how he said, how he told it as well. I put my hand across the nose and the mouth, and I said, "This one is a goner too, Bowen. This one's a goner too," with such a sad voice. Oh man, at least you tried, Thomas. And the situation was really well. It had been really deadly just before that, you know, and all this kind of dark magic flying around from Oddleaf.
And we're still finding out where we stand in these situations, because like I think that Oddleaf and Thomas were a little bit more violent than I would have thought from earlier sessions. I know that they have a dark streak, but this session was pretty much like let's end them.
Don't know where that came from as well, but that's why I had the conversation in a way, I guess. Yeah.
No, so they did try. They did try to kill us and kidnap friends.
Yeah, that's true, and so maybe they got what they deserved, but I don't even think that Jasper thinks that, which is me. I'm talking about me as if I'm a character as well. I might be a character. I don't know. In somebody else's game. And I must have a low wisdom, because I'm failing every wisdom saving throw to detect reality. That's my guess. And it's a pretty complicated game, because there are all these menial tasks like doing the dishes, and we really play through that on a one-on-one basis. Totally idiotic.
But some driven players, though. Some driven players playing our characters.
Yeah, for 80 years straight, and then they die. We are fed up with all the bullshit, says Michelle. Then there are some other things happening in chat as well. For example, our Dungeon Master says Djinn the technologically challenged. And Becket says Djinn the not an artificer, which I don't know why he's saying that. Maybe the technologically. Oh, that's a good one, Becket. Why didn't they get that on the first try? Anyway, yeah, cool. And Detlef really loves spoilers and roddelpraat and Cossack talk. Cossack talk? I don't know what that means, but thanks for being here, Detlef. Nice to see you. And there is Sir Skankulot. Hi, sorry for the late arrival. Well, you're here now, and we are enjoying ourselves very much. You've missed a whole lot of plot hooks, but you're here now, so yeah.
Just in time.
Yeah. So then we went through a tree, which sounds strange, but it's what happened, kind of.
It was super strange.
And then we came into this new world. Nothing strange about that, really. Nothing strange happened at all. I think we walked for a bit and we ran for a bit, and that was about it, right?
Yeah, that's the super short sum up. Yes.
Yeah. So you want to add to that one then?
We went into a bizarre new world. I'd like to add the word bizarre there, and and there were a lot of things happening there which we want to explore but didn't really get the chance to, because one of the first things we did was the wrong thing, and now we needed to run. That's a slightly less shorter sum up, I think.
Yeah, it's true. Nothing else happened.
So much happened, but I don't wanna be like half an hour repeating everything. But it was a nicely described world, which fed a lot on my my fantasy scenes in my head, like
The Studio
where
Ghibli kind.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
spot on.
We talked about it afterwards, and we really thought we got this great Studio Ghibli vibe, and that's a bit of how the Dungeon Master had intended it to feel. So that was great, and I like that very much because I like Princess Mononoke especially, and the House Moving Castle as well, and
all these
and Spirited Away, but especially Princess Mononoke. Yeah.
Yeah, and these details that are brought up make the world very lively. Like for me personally, I experienced it when I was, like everybody knows, Solwing likes some food, some here and there, and if we have all these new fruits, I'm picking them, and I really thought like I cannot be doing anything wrong because it's fruit, it's meant to be eaten, and then I was tapped on the fingers like, please leave the fruit alone because the forest is going to hate you, and those kinds of things are definitely.
And then I bit the head of a centipede.
Yeah, that was maybe more shocking, but it had the same effect, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, biting centipedes, picking fruits, it's all not what you should be doing here. So let's find out what else can happen, especially with a party like ours. Yeah, it's I still don't know how to call current Bowen, but that was really amazing. I had so much fun with you playing that role.
With Bowen?
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything different, right?
No, not too much, except for the voice. The voice was a little bit slightly adjusted. And and that immediately made it like a different Bowen.
I don't know what you mean. What are you talking about? I'm a dirty old man. I'm a dirty old man, but a friend of yours.
I think you might be, right?
I don't know, but I like the voice though.
yeah, and you immediately had a little bit of a feel of the character. Voice in there.
I like that you gave me some food. I love the food. I can't get to any food,
That's why you were returning the favor with the centipede, right?
I'm so fucking skinny and hungry all the time.
So I'm really looking forward to how that's going to work out. Yeah. And I'm really asking myself, okay, so we brought Petal back. What are we doing here again? Search the druid, but since we're now being followed by giant monsters, it seems like maybe we could have just dropped Petal off and just be on our way. Mission accomplished. But no.
We could.
Yeah, but we are too curious and druids and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
True. Yeah. You're going to see what's going to happen. So Esner N says, poor bandits, all those players behind their characters are now back to playing their own lives. That's what you get for being a bandit.
Exactly.
For being a non-playing character in somebody else's campaign. Yeah. Better get hired again to play another bandit or something, or get a main role. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's maybe enough said that how many times have you played a campaign, or anyone you know who said like, yeah, I played this amazing bandit? Didn't happen.
That didn't happen, no.
So maybe that's why.
Well, I've got this great role, bandit number 11. Man, he's great, He says, "Hey-yo," in the third act.
Irrelevant. You don't level up, you just get a new one.
Same backstory, it doesn't matter. They will never talk to you anyway. So my wife Agnes, my wife Agni, my wife Okno. I have a daughter, I have a son, I have a daughter or a son, I don't know.
I might have pet. Yeah.
Oh, bandits. Yeah. Funny guys. And girls. So, Spirited Away is one of my favorite movies. Ifridian says hi. I don't know why.
No.
Because he already was here. But, Michel says, yeah, Princess Mononoke is my favorite Ghibli movie. Spirited Away close second. Have been on Ghibli binge minus Princess M.
Pooh.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm telling you what's happening in chat, so you know.
Yeah, and I agree. Great movies, enjoyed them a lot. And
So
I'm a big fan in general of the Eastern animated stuff that comes our way.
Yeah, I know. So I feel that we have discussed the episode and we haven't discussed it at the same time. Do you have the same feeling, Djinn?
I think it's very nice how we did that.
Yeah, I think so too. So maybe, man, I'm showing off my my arms a lot. Man, still in a t-shirt in this house. Winter is coming. Anyway, so everybody can see the episode now. Might still be wondering what's going to happen in the episode, and I think that's good. Though I would gladly go into more details, but maybe there are some questions at the end of the show. But because we have a lot of ground to cover, because we have about 80 answers to get through. Some are only one word, others are whole chapters of a book. So, well, not exactly, but I compressed it a little,
Not reading an entire book today.
Not reading an entire... Yeah. Let's go into the main topic of the show, and the topic is, what is your favorite type of character to play, and why? So, this first answer is from Roland, who is on the Dutch 20 community, and he says, I have a plague druid, Circle of Swamps, who is a master of diseases and insects. His name is Mr. Solomon. He is an old bastard, but he has a heart of gold. His son ran away because he thinks that his father is the reason that his mother succumbed to a disease, because he should be the master of control in that aspect. Oh man, I can't stand this. Switched letters, too hasty. Curing it now until you make him angry because he's the master in control of that aspect, until you make him angry, that is. Solomon died recently, sadly. So this guy has this great character. Roland has this great character called Solomon, who has this great background about a son that has ran away, and that's the goal of I chatted a bit more about this, or it went on after this one, and his son ran away, and that is his incentive to go on a journey, and a sad start to a modern history, so to say, and that's what he likes to play. What is your favorite type of character to play? That is his favorite character to play. So it's not really a type, it's this character that he likes to play. And I have had a lot of these kind of answers, which is great, because it is the most honest.
It could be that like his favorite character is Poison Druid or Venom Druid.
I think it's Solomon.
I think so too, because it sounds like an awesome character, but it could be that.
Yeah,
also,
I know. Yeah.
Then, yeah.
So when I proposed this question 2 weeks ago, I immediately regretted wording it as poorly as I did because it went through a couple of iterations again, and this is what came out. And it leaves open the question of what is meant with this. Is it a race? Is it a class? Is it a combination of those two? Is it an alignment? Is it a personality? And that's what I think makes this an interesting question, because that way you get a lot of different kinds of answers, and this is one of them. You know, when I would talk about Bowen, or when I would talk about Amfortas, if you would have asked me, hey, what's your favorite kind of character to play when I was playing Amfortas, I would say, well, it's this Elven Ranger, and he's a prince, and he's this and that, you know, and then that would be the answer I would give. When I'm on this side of the screen, which is, man, on which side am I? Because I'm on the screen, and I'm sitting in front of the screen, because I'm being confusion all around. On northern right, won't it be equal? Become one. I forgot the sentence. Suddenly we're in fatalist mood. Man, now I lost my train of thought.
I sparked your music brain just before the show.
Yeah, you started, yeah. With, what was it again? Yes, these are my United States or whatever. These are my United States or whatever.
That's where it started.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why. Yeah. We weren't even discussing the elections, and we weren't political or anything, but train of thought. Yeah, my train of thought. Thank you, chat. Breaking the fourth wall all the time. Yeah, we are doing that. So where were we? Oh yeah, there are many ways to answer the question that's been put in front of you. And that's okay, because that makes it very interesting to analyze.
Yeah.
With Roland, we got into the main thing. Do you want to say anything about the story, Djinn?
No, I wanted to just say, at first I said it's a tough question, and this is exactly why I think it's a tough question. What we just discussed about who you play and when you play it, and there are just different kinds of circumstances for favoriting certain kinds of characters.
Yeah. So then let's go to some footage of yesterday, and maybe you can watch on Twitch as it is running, Djinn, so you get the gist of it. Because yesterday there were some people in chat who were asking what will be the topic of Talking Void, which was the first time that has ever happened on a previous show. And Michel gave something of an answer. And you know Michel, he wants to talk a lot, and so he did for about 2 minutes, and we're going to watch that footage right now. So enjoy the footage we shot yesterday, which is a kind of Inception thingy too. Here we go.
But I would answer your question, Jasper, and I already answered it on Instagram as well. I would answer your question as what kind of characters do I like playing, which we talked about earlier, that I tend to play good characters, also in my video games. I tried to play Mass Effect as a renegade for so many times, and the first time you get a renegade option or a paragon option where you just like be nice to somebody or you punch them in the face, I'm like, no, I need to be nice to this person. I actually like it. This person did nothing wrong.
The first part of this show was unique because we went murder hobo by accident.
Yeah.
But we never do this.
I shall serve.
The only Paragon options that I really there's a few options where I chose the Paragon options, but there I really felt that the person I was doing it to deserved it in Mass Effect. But so that's alignment wise. I don't really use alignment that much, but so I tend to play good characters. My other answer would be that I love, as in real life, I like versatility. I find lots of stuff in this world interesting, and I want to do and experience as much as I can. And the same thing goes for my D&D characters. So I tend to play versatile classes. I like to have all the options available and be able to do everything. So currently I'm playing a bard. Before that my usual go-to classes were things like cleric and druid. And also I almost always multi-class if I get a chance, because versatility is key. I feel like I like looking for combinations of different abilities, features, spells to try and find unique ways of dealing with situations.
For me, it's lawful, definitely, because I think that in real life I'm kind of a lawful person as well. I can do chaotic things, but when it comes to honor and everything, I'm more about that
Yeah,
than
me too.
anything else.
In real life,
And-
I'm very duty bound, sort of. I have my own code and I stick to it, and
Yeah,
very lawful.
yeah. And well, if it's the alignment spectrum, then it's lawful good, you know. Ooh.
Yeah,
Right?
wow.
So voidception is what they're calling it in chat. Oh man, I'm now in voidception because I'm Twitch was still on, so I had myself saying voidception to myself.
Woot.
The weirdness of the internet. Anyway.
Void.
So that was the conversation we had about it yesterday, and that's more in line of what I wanted to talk about in this episode. But then all these answers came, and then I thought, well, great, let's do it this way, right? Half-Life 3 confirmed, says Mireneos. But that's such a random thing to say. The show within the show. Next show we can go deeper. Next show we can, we Inception, and every time goes by a factor of 10. So as an introduction of what I was expected to have happened, and as an introduction of what the answers were generally like, I like the way they are generally, because that's how people want to talk about their experience in Dungeons and Dragons, and that should always be leading in these kinds of matters. Right?
Agreed.
Anything
Completely
to?
agreed.
Okay. So the cat is in chat right now, which is great because I kind of condensed his answer that he gave in Dutch 20 to this English short text, and I hope I got the essence of what he was telling me. He says, my personal favorite is a level 10 undying female elf warlock. She's about 2200 years old and witnessed great mages like Mordekainen in her days. She called him a jumped up archmage, soon to be little more than a story, with nothing more to his name other than a few spells and some trinkets. So she is kind of a witness of history, and while time progresses, she learns and forgets and learns new skills again. So this led to some confusion in chat, because how come you're at 10th level when Mordekainen was one of the well-known archmages that spent some time with Elminster and everything, and has this magic missile spell to his name, for example. And I think that the gist was that yes, he's a 10th level character because through the 2200 years he evolves and devolves as he stops training and starts training again in some other aspects that she is interested in. So basically you have an undying warlock, you age 1 year per every 10 years, so yeah, you can live quite a long time. Yeah.
And she might like to pick fights with guys who level drain.
Yeah, for example. Yeah, or she level drains herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my character still has around 8,000-ish years left. So, did I translate it in the right manner, Beckett? I'm eager to know.
Exciting.
In a mild form of dementia, says Sir Skankulov. Esner says, by the way, they are now so famous they can start recycling material and we still love it. Oh, I'm almost ashamed now, you know. Yeah, you did. Oh, thank you, Buket, because I thought I understood what you were trying to say, and I like the concept of someone who stays about the same or changes because of lack of interest and is experiencing this flow of time while ages and empires pass and they are still alive and just walk among men and sometimes have these new experiences that make them a new person, and yet they are still the same person in a way. Although the argument was mostly due to Mordekainen being cocksure and my character not exactly being impressed. Yeah, true, that was kind of the main thing. But I think you explained it well enough to have this be a great character concept, you know. Maybe you were a 30th level wizard when he was around, but then later on you devolved and evolved into something new and then devolved and evolved again. Just a silent witness, yeah. I like the idea. You've played cards with the great ones of history and now you're doing another thing with a group of 10th level adventurers that are okay by themselves. So that's another answer to this question. What do you think of the answer, Djinn? Because I can talk a lot, you know.
Yeah, and I'm actually impressed because I'm really thinking about how you should create such a character and what it would do in a party setting, because it would give such a different, like, a lot of campaigns that we play, we start out not knowing everything about the world. If you have a character like that in your party, you're going to know a lot about the world, except for the forgetfulness and stuff, but that can play well into the campaign. But you have a nice base of history in your party.
Yeah. So does Undying gain expertise in history then? That would be great to reflect that sense of timelessness, you know?
Yeah, no, but just in general, it would make a great concept of a character in exactly in a party. I think it would rock. I'd like to play in a party with such a character. Let's say it like that.
Yeah, it reminds me a bit, although in a different manner, because it was more about time travel in a way, about the Redemption of Atalos, which is a book by David and Lee Eddings, which was about this thief who made a lot of mistakes, then went to bed with a goddess and woke up a couple of thousand years later, not knowing that time had passed. And then he was kind of her servant, but she could manipulate time or something, and then he went back to correct his own mistakes. But he had the way that it feels a bit of the same idea is that he now had all the knowledge about how things were right then, and he could do something about it. So it's a bit different, but
it's completely
it triggered my mind. It's completely different. Boss fight. That's a great thing. Remember that, boss fight. Although the argument was mostly... we discussed that. Most knowledge was outdated by centuries, which resulted in some hilarious stuff. Like my character... noping a boss fight by recognizing a lich. Noping? Well, great. Good for you. Well, I think we both love this answer, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's a good character.
Yeah. Noping, the act of saying nope. It's basically getting the tea out for a nice conversation. Knowing. Oh, okay, so cool. He got the tea out. Yeah, that's great. Having the rich take the tea. Oh, man, it's you. Okay. Yeah, oh, so cool. Yeah. As if finding out the boss is an old friend. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. What is your... Dan Senna says, my favorite character was a young noble named Arovet. Before he would follow in the footsteps of his father, he wanted to get to know the world outside of his noble blood. He took on a false identity, Dante, and went up north. He met a group of adventurers, and though they were quite strange, he became fast friends with the Drow, Tabaxi, and lizard folk. In his spare time, he writes letters to his younger sister, who he dearly misses.
Nice.
Poetry in motion. Talk, Djinn.
Poetry emotions. I don't do poetry.
Emotion.
No, I when I heard that, I thought that sounds for a great start. Especially the figures he's walking around with makes it an interesting party, and then he's actually the odd one out instead of like one lizard man or one drow, or what you see like one ever in a party is the one standing out. And now it's actually the normal guy, which is the weird one in the party.
Yeah, and it was
I don't know if I
to tell others about his history as well.
Yeah, and I think that makes for a cool concept as well.
Yeah,
really different campaign you're going to get.
So, talking about the odd one out, Djinn.
Yes.
Which
in our group, I don't think so. I think
No?
I'm probably one of the most natural and mundane characters of our group, because the rest is just weird.
Okay.
All the humans
So we are viewing you as the outsider, but you're the normal one, and the other three are the outsiders.
yeah. If I see what is happening,
Other
I think
four,
like
really.
I am definitely playing an odd character, but not the oddest one out of the bunch.
So, what kind of characters do you like to play, Djinn?
Yeah, I was that was the difficult thing of a question, because I don't have a lot of favorite things. So I agree with what Michel just said, that I also like one of my favorite characters was Lothar from the Prophecy, Legacy of Time, and that was a jack of all trades. He wasn't super good at anything, but he could do almost anything. Like he could put his part in almost everything that you could think of. And if I really took my time, then I could excel in one of these areas, but it always needed a lot of preparation. And I like being able to butt in on every part of the skill. But I in general, I like to play characters not so standard. So if I would play a fighter, I would try to make a fighter which is out of the ordinary a little bit. I'm playing a future campaign with Roger now, and I actually made a fighter there which was built on it's called Striker class, but like a Blade Master kind of character, and I tried to turn it into a ninja, which would which you would think like he's going to a roguish kind of character, but I was definitely just a head-butt-in fighter with some quirks, which made me a ninja and got me some stealth. And that's something that I really like to do with my characters. Just I remember when we were playing Stronghold, also, that I wanted to make a Scion half angelic kind of creature, which you superbly killed with 3 disintegrates after another, which was
Oh wow. I don't even remember 3 disintegrates after each other, but that's cool of me, I think.
yeah, it was really make another photo to save. What?
So to tell the chat a bit about this Stronghold thing we did. Stronghold is a city-state in my campaign, and we had this thing where we would join once every 4 to 6 months, although it got further in between as we got older. And we would play with, I was the dungeon master, and we would have anywhere between 10 and 20 players around the table. And leveling went fast. There were all kind of rules to barter and everything. The idea was that the adventure was pretty difficult. There were harsh decisions to be made. You would probably die a lot, and then you would make a new character, which started 1 level below your original character or something. could tweak that as well. And then you would go through another character, and some of you died hard a couple of times, and some of the battles were really extreme. It was 3.5 edition Dungeons and Dragons, and I really knew how to balance that. You see me smile?
Oh man, we died so much. It was so incredibly harsh and fun, but harsh.
Yeah, it was fun.
You definitely got
sessions that lasted the whole day. So like that.
Yeah, you definitely got a killer DM status there.
What made my reputation?
Yeah, definitely.
Some way. Yeah. And some of the encounters were so dark. Yeah.
But fun, and actually, I mean, I don't know if a lot of players who are listening. I'm calling them players because I'm a player. No, because I'm not talking from a DM perspective, but as a player, you know how rowdy it can get, even with 4 people in a party if you disagree with something. So to actually have a working setting where you can play with almost 20 people. I mean, with my high up, I think there were 18 people in session or something, and that worked, and that we actually got fights done is amazing.
Yeah, I think so too. It was not even one fight or something. There was more than one fight on well, it was a whole day, so from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the evening or something, with food and everything. Yeah.
Still 15 people.
Yeah.
It's, I thought it was brilliant.
Thank you. I thought you were brilliant. No, you were brilliant.
No, it was brilliant. Because
it was brilliant. Yeah. It was us.
Yeah, us, definitely.
So, but what you were trying to say there, you could really try extreme characters, right? That's what you were going to...
Yeah, because even if I do create an extreme character, which like in another party, it's a pirate campaign, and we were going to play a pirate campaign, and that was the moment I thought I want to be a tanky character, and I made a knight who has to be lawful and has to obey his lord, but his lord's a chaotic pirate lord, which is again a strange setting for a knight kind of character, but it makes for a lot of fun role playing.
Yeah. Going against the expectations.
Yeah. And these kind of things make for nice fantasy, and that's what I really like also about the RPG games.
Yeah. So, but you're touching on another point when you said this seems like a great space to get your character built up from as a backstory. This feels like a backstory when we see Sanen's how do you say? Sanen's answer to the question. And at the same time, you feel some history building up there by saying that he has great adventures with these guys, and in his spare time he writes letters to his younger sister. So I think that this what you get out of these answers, Cat's answer as well, is that characters are a feeling.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? Because you can... everyone can make a human fighter, but the character that you grow attached to might be that human fighter, or someone might find a human fighter totally boring, but because you have a strong background or great motives or a great connection with the other party members because of where you are coming from, makes it so that you really like to play that character. So then, am I right? Am I getting a bit misty here?
No, I'm actually. You sent me trailing off in my head that thinking like if I think about this clearly, then mostly I try to see what kind of setting I'm playing in, and then I build a character, and then I, exactly like you say, I build a character on feel, and then I try to pick the right class and abilities for that feel. So if you want to be magically endued, maybe spacey character, then you're going to build a mage class or at least a caster class character to go with that magical feel. And if you want to be like a hero which is known for his physical abilities, you might go for a warrior or a rogue or something like that. And with me, first I think of what kind of character do I want to play in the setting, and then I start picking out class and shenanigans, and I build from there, and not the other way. Not like I have a human fighter. What kind of dude is it going to be?
Yeah, I understand. So that's why your ninja was built out of a fighter class, because that suited your feel of the character you were trying to play.
Yeah, and also, okay, maybe that's the wrong example, because I really liked the class, and that there, like in that setting, there were new classes released, and some of the classes weren't played, and was one of the classes that was not played in the party. But when it was introduced, it was like we made this class in such a way that you can go a lot of different directions. And when I built my character, I was thinking about how can I make this class not seem like the class, and then I got the character idea, and then I started filling in the class and the PCs and everything like that. And so this was maybe one of the only examples where I didn't have the character in my head before I read the class, but that was also because it was just an enormous cool class. So sometimes that helps too. If you read this one, that immediately gives you a character idea, then it can work like that.
So let's go into the next one, because we have about 80 to go. Tom says, Arondir Tierson, the Goliath Paladin with the Oath of Storms, original content homebrew. Great weapon fighting, heavy armor, 20 strength, 16 constitution. Fair play is so important to him that he once grabbed the bard that inspired him in a pit fight for giving him an advantage. And divine sense? More like detect heresy.
Nice.
A simple yet straightforward answer. And the funny thing is that this is what he always also said, this is what inspired my avatar for the Dutch 20 thing again. So this is him. He plays this character, but he also is this character. He has other wants to play. Welcome Marty to the stream. Have to go, guys. Catch you soon. See you soon. Careful, Cantrip. When you get this, I think that it's the third one in line here that really says, "From man, I am this character. I want to play this character because it's so awesome and such great things happen to him."
Yeah, right? I actually can immediately, something relates to my mind, because I think that you also know the character. There's this one character zooming around several of our campaigns, which I think actually appeared in like 4 or 5 different campaigns, always as the same one. Someone in our close quarters. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
No.
And I'm having the wrong name in my head, so this is going to be super difficult, because I'm going to say Sharakur, but that's not his name.
Oh.
I hope I bridged it in your head.
well. Do you mean Dedraf's character then?
Yeah.
Sharakur. Yeah, Sharakur is the right character.
Is it the right name?
Yeah.
Because he appeared in a lot of different campaigns, being the same character every time again, even through several stages of D&D versions.
Yeah, well, I think you're mixing 2 of his characters together.
I'm meaning the other one.
Thanks for the subscription, Michelle. Thank you so much. it's of course how do you say, an in-crowd subscription, but thanks nonetheless. Oh man, those subscriptions, they make my heart beat even faster when I'm doing this show. Yeah, well, it's Detlef, so he plays a kind of there's a dark edge to him, I'm guessing. And he played up. Well, the funny thing is that he played Apollo in my first campaign.
That's the same.
Yeah.
Apollo's
Now I understand what you're trying to say. Yes, Apollo also came back in the other campaign, and he's now in his 5th edition iteration, and he's played by someone else, which is even stranger. Yeah. Okay, true. But Sherakor also came from Stormhold in 3.5 edition, where he became a non-player character because he couldn't be held responsible. Well, he was so evil in that campaign, and now he's trying to amend. I don't know. Inception subscription, Inception subscription, man. But he was a part of Roger's campaign. He was part of my campaign, which wasn't even possible because they were 2 different universes, multiverses even.
That's what pinged in my head when I heard that description, because it's a character which was being loved so much in a way that it just continues reappearing in all these different kind of settings, in different kind of rules, and that makes it how I can imagine someone like really loving a character and I'm going to play a new D&D campaign, I'm sorry, but I'm going to play the same character, different story.
That's perception. True. I like these kinds of paladins as well, by the way. The harsh ones. The ones
they
that
make
hit
for
you
really
when you... up to the next one. Tyke says, at this moment I like Skiwick the best, a spore druid goblin from the Underdark. Skiwick once ate a talking mushroom, and that mushroom is now slowly growing out of his head. Now it is difficult to discern where the Skiwick ends and the mushroom begins, especially when you talk to him. He is completely insane. I said, wow, this is a great backstory.
Yes, I agree. I didn't hear it. It sounds really amazing.
I want to have a mushroom growing out of one of my characters' heads, not out of my own head. Okay. Wait a sec.
Ooh.
That's enough for me. Yeah. Anyway. When I have these... can't come up with the word again. Pleister. Why can't I come up with the English word for pleister?
Band-aid.
Band-aid? Yeah, Band-aid. When I have these Band-aids on my head, it's a mushroom that's growing there, possibly. Yeah. I like this backstory, but I really, they say that text can easily be misinterpreted, and that's true, because especially when things are getting tense, you can read into stuff that isn't there. But when I read these kind of stories, all I read is enthusiastic ways of describing a creation that really has become a part of your Dungeons and Dragons experience. You can just read it between the lines, and right?
Yeah.
This is just cool.
Yeah, I immediately got enthusiastic with just the description.
Yeah,
I don't know how it's going to be in roleplay, because I don't know if I can even play a character like that, because I would be sort of bipolar, or not both bipolar but schizophrenic or something like that. With on one hand you're playing a talking mushroom, on the other hand you're playing a goblin. So
weighing them skills.
Yeah. But if you have a person who can play the character well, it will be such a great addition to your party and to your play, I think.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I like it. So now we have this long post which says, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about the most, I think, because you talked about it when you were talking about your own characters just before this last one. Kevin says, if you're, this is from the Facebook part of things. Kevin says, if you're talking about character class, that's one thing, but if you're talking about character or personalities, that's another thing. Since so much is changed, I will describe the personality, which varies from character to character, but this is my preferred, I don't know, there was a sign after that, but and then he goes on, because this is what I'll be displaying on the show, and he says, never dress exactly to the class. If a fighter does not wear plate mail or any obvious heavy armor, leaves are in the storage bags. Leaves it in the storage bags if needed or own. If a mage, then see as soon as possible if they can cast an illusion. Normal clothes looks like armor. If not, we'll tailor clothes to have the hints that armor is underneath it. So subverting the expectation. If a thief, I will probably carry a lot of spell scrolls and then eat natural ability of the glasses, the ability to cast spells from the scrolls after all, and go about appearing to be a sorcerer's apprentice. Much of the team to offer would be said to do magic in the classic sense of modern time. The sentences are a bit convoluted, but they were in English, so I have to break it up a bit.
Yeah, but
set
I
up
like
strings to open and close doors if by will the illusion of actual magic, and it goes on. Why might you ask? Partly to mess with the other players, but also to give a tactical advantage that if they think you are one thing but are another, it's like somehow cheating when playing paper, scissors, stone. Every personality, usually it's somebody who is distant and listening on the periphery. Man, I can't scroll now, because that will mess. Well, anyway, does not take center stage. The kind of person who might really massive power, but seem to be hiding it, or is better at what they are doing and very humble. Seems to be with a group more out of boredom. So anyway, he's talking about subverting the expectations.
Yes. Which is always amazing. If I think that a lot of people in Precipice do it as well. Because
I think so too.
when we met up, it's absolutely not clear what we are and what we do, except for one maybe. And I think that.
So you are the odd one out.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm the most normal. I'm the most mundane character that's with us. No, but I really like some of the examples that he gives, because that is also exactly what I was trying to describe. That when you play something, then try to make it not too obvious. Unless, like, if you want to play a true paladin, what you were talking about earlier, then you should just give him full plate and golden armor and stuff like that. But it's really nice to play a thief who's pretending to be a mage.
Yeah,
it will get you in some nice situations.
Yeah, I like it as well. Being in the background or being in the foreground, but with strange motivations, helps a lot as well. So that's he just kind of described what you were telling. Is what I thought about this.
Yeah, and I when I hear the description, I'm thinking like I like a few of the examples that he sets, and that would be in a lot of campaigns that would be what I'm searching for too, because it gives a lot of good role play. And I don't know if I'm actually getting any advantage from like the DM's perspective, like, oh, that guy's a ninja, so I'm not going to. I think that doesn't happen too much, because the balance is already in the game itself. But it could happen.
It could happen.
And it's I think it mostly makes for a really nice role play. I remember that when you met us in the prophecy, you needed quite some time to know what I was.
Yeah, man, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
It took me years, I think. Years.
Nah, not years, but maybe one.
I think. Yeah, well, maybe one. Yeah.
And those
so did we.
things.
That's just kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah. So now it has become the time to go through the other 70.
Yeah.
So, first answer I'm giving you. Cobalt Artificers. Cool,
I'm
eh?
never going.
That's the
Never
whole
mind.
answer. So, what is your favorite type of character to play and why? Cobalt Artificers all the way through. So these are these answers all come from Facebook, the Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition group there, which is kind of hardcore because you can't discuss anything else there, which is okay because why not? And these are some of the answers I am going to scroll through with you. Paladin with Fighter because make a multi-attack of 4 in one turn with Smite really makes the point that my character wants you dead. You know? Sounds logical.
Sounds like plan.
Yeah.
smite those evil doers.
Yeah. I have 2. A Mountain Dwarf War Mage, surprisingly good, especially when I cast Haste on the party Barbarian. We basically steamrolled every encounter. The second is a Coach of Whispers Bard with moderately armored, is Spanish Inquisitor. The entire party is afraid of him. Both are super fun to play and roleplay. Bit of a more extensive answer. The fun is coming out of the screen at me when I read this, so that's cool. I like to mix it up a lot. In my main campaign I play a druid furball that doesn't have a clue what money is, while the rest of the party are very money driven. I really like the druid class in general. Playing a bard is super fun. It is not that powerful battle-wise, but you can have a lot of fun with the character social-wise. Paladin. I'm a sucker for high charisma and Nova damage. Also their spellcasting is quite nice. RP-wise, between all the oaths and different backgrounds, I managed to play radically different characters. So you see the ones that vary in one class because they like it so much and try to mix it up that way. And you see the ones that play different kinds of things and divert expectations. Michel says, because he was in there too, I love and need versatility. My go-to classes are the hybrids like Clerk, Druid or Bard. I also tend to play good aligned characters. I love finding unique combinations of feats, abilities and spells to turn the tide of any encounter. Not powerful but unexpected and useful. I like to play extremely versatile PCs which generally come at the cost of also being low on power skill. I'm okay with that. I don't try to optimize damage per round. That's very good. I try to optimize my fun. I love usable at will things, cantrips, some warlock invocation, etc. and try to find inventive new ways to use them effectively. My most extreme example of this was a PC that had 4 classes at level 4 using 3 main stats and added a 5th with a 4th main stat at level 7. Lowest in raw power of all 8 PCs in the game, but also the most useful overall one in the game, was elected party leader too. This guy or girl is proud of what he or she has done. Divine Soul Sorcerer Tiefling because it amuses me and is better built than I expected it to be. You see how they vary?
Yeah, I see how they vary. Yeah. And I don't know if I can just butt in from time to time, but because you were...
Yeah, butt in.
Yeah,
interrupt me.
There's like this alignment thing, where both of you actually said that you have a tendency to play good characters. I think that if I think about it, I tend to think it's really fun to play neutral characters because then you can swing both ways, you know. Just
both ways.
Yeah. If there's a little bit of evil being done, then you can just also be part of the fun. And I just know a few people who would actually maybe prefer evil-leaning characters, but the ones who do often play them so very brilliantly, which makes it also a lot of fun, especially when they're in a semi-good party. So there's the one evil character trying to fake that he's good or something like that, and then suddenly like some spells are cast against good or something like that, and then suddenly you find out he's not the good guy, which makes for role play.
But I think didn't do anything wrong either, you know.
No, exactly. But it's funny to see how people's personality can add to how you're aligning your character.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Because there's just some things that I cannot, like what Michel said too. Like I can play an evil character, but I cannot play like a terrifying evil character. I would always do some good things to make me feel better about my character. To be like necessary evil instead of just plain dominant, destructive force evil.
Yeah.
So that was my interruption.
Yeah.
Just
okay. But here, someone says I can't scroll. Okay, I skipped one. A young but evil character, someone who is evil because of his childhood, but isn't so old as to so their party members can't help redeem them. My most notable character like this is started this campaign lawful evil and ended up the campaign lawful good. It was a lot of fun slowly watching her learn what it meant to truly be a good person, and that not all crimes need to be with lethal force. To learn that sometimes all that is needed is a soft hand and a compassionate but firm guide to correct the path of lesser offenders. And while there are times to show no mercy, those times are generally few and far in between. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice bridge from the discussion we were just having.
Yeah. So that's cool. And yeah, it's cool. I currently have a Warforged Bard in Avernus. I like it. I like that I can be upfront if I want or stand back and spellcast. Depends on how I feel that day in that fight situation. This one I like as well. Paladin, human, and I let the DM choose my fool. Cool, eh? Yeah. This is the most fun one. It says wizard. But the most fun aspect of this one is that he then gave a comment to his own message and said, as an explanation, this one needs no explanation. Hilarious. Oh man, yeah, I had to laugh really hard about that one.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Wizard, not bad.
Any character that causes the GM to do a double take. X, our characters got an estate that happened to make wine. I think I was meant to be descriptive and flavor text. My character has spent several sessions growing the wine business with plans for expansion. Yeah, that's so cool too. Yeah, you're really getting into that aspect of the game. Do you can you relate to that? To going to totally different aspect.
Yeah, I think we talked about that earlier, that we have this one campaign where we're running our own island, and sometimes some of the players say, okay, let's stop going so deep into the managing our own people and business and town and stuff like that, because we can get really... Yeah, sessions can be hurt a little bit by our managing our people. But I think that's amazing. I think that's great, because then you get so much world flavor, especially if you're not playing somewhere like it's a little bit of a smaller setting where we're in there, and we're already very high level, so we sort of know the map, and we've sort of been everywhere. And then because of this micro level, it gets a lot of more depth and color. Whereas if you need to travel between planes and stuff like that, then maybe you cannot always go into those details, because then your campaigns would really take like more time than human life allows for.
Yeah. Crafty silver-tongued underhanded type, because most of my friends and play group play really good people with high morals. You just need someone who's in the dark. Yeah, well, we can relate, right?
Yep.
Either dodgy rogue or monk, or tanky paladin barb, or gishy. Bard hexblade, lol. I don't know the term gishy.
Gishy. I have never heard of it too.
Do you know the term gishy, chat?
Gishy. I'm also looking at
chat. I think it's an OP multiclass thing or something.
Could be.
Yeah. anyway. Cleric fighter. That's an easy answer as well.
We're going to look that up for the next time.
Yeah. Survivors, adventurers who have seen the world and have the ability to use everything at their disposal to get the job done. It's too bad I have a reputation in most of my local groups for playing sadistic lunatics. Most other players don't listen to my ideas. The only groups I have any freedom with are guys I've joined with who either didn't know me at all or were just as awkward as me. But either way, my typical MO is a true neutral wildman, typically a fighter, barbarian, druid, monk, warlock who knows how to use at least one tool set and has a more unorthodox way of thinking. So, is he or she getting kicked out of every party? I don't know. I thought it was a really funny answer anyway.
I don't think so, because I've played with some characters who are having some similar traits, and for me it always becomes like, how can you glue the party together when you have like someone playing an almost crazy person and a few people who are like law, order, and everything needs to make sense, and to bring that together and it working will always make for exciting roleplay. Even during combat, we've had these things happening that as was described earlier, that slapping the bard, just slapping the guy who targets friendlies because he just feels like it at that point in time, and that can make for interesting developments.
Yeah, true. This one is interesting as well. It says rogue. I'm skipping a few by now, right? Do this because I like it. So that one answered the why question as well. Do you list because I like it? Or chaotic neutral. That's also an answer. Or chaotic neutral. Oh, I think this should have been one. Chaotic good. Get to be the hero and do good, but not bound by laws, but moral principles. And this one says, I always used to play a tank character or a really high DPS kind of thug, but lately I've been having a blast with spellcasters. One of my games I'm a Goliath bard who plays the bagpipes, and the other a half druid, a dirty hippie child of the forest type. And they're both super fun, although I am a little more partial to the bard. Bards are cool.
Bards are cool.
Paladin, I can be a tank and do some minor healing to help support my party. In the past I was a fighter, but the classes were different. A paladin, ranger and a few other things were all subclasses of fighter, of warrior. We discussed this in parallel projections as well, by the way. Melee is usually my go-to. Love playing a sorcerer, also played as a Sorlock, and that was fun. Sorcerer, warlock, charisma based spellcasters. Almost all my characters have high charisma because of my playstyle. So you see, you have the class aspect, you sometimes have the race aspect, but it's less present, I think. You have the alignment aspect, you have the diverting expectation aspect, you have the odd one out aspect. You can... Gear? Yeah.
Like the other one said, like I'm going to change up my gear to...
Yeah. Most of my characters tend to be hot-headed. I'm currently playing a very meek character, and it's definitely a challenge role. I've already caught myself slipping into a few headstrong moments she probably wouldn't do. I also tend to really enjoy spellcasters. There's so much creativity that goes into spellcasting time. Most of my characters are kind of extensions of me, even if I try not to make it so. Yeah, well... Can you relate?
Definitely. There's, like I said, there's some things that I cannot play because my mind doesn't work that way. Yeah. And I want to, but if I try to, then I just realize it's too hard to consequently do it. Like, I can do it, but then I need to really concentrate, like, what would I normally not do and how to do that convincingly. And I can only do that like so many times, and then I sort of turn to myself a little bit with my character.
So, let's see. Gishy. When someone or something is cute and has squishy cheeks, they are gishy. The baby is too gishy. Okay.
Oh, nice. Thanks. Thanks very much.
Urban Dictionary. Gish is a magic swords person. Oh, also. I think it's the later one.
Nice.
Now I understand why they are talking about what is it called? Sword masters. No, not sword masters. Braid singers. You know, Eldritch Knight, Braid singer. Oh yeah, Hexblade, etc. Melee combat infused either magic with kisses
We
from
learned
specialized
something
Kivianki.
Learn something.
We've learned something.
Words.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Like
Yeah,
this one as well.
I had a new brain fart while we were discussing all these things. Like, because I think that one
Better
thing
go
that
to the toilet.
yeah. Was it the question?
No.
Oh, no. I weird. I was thinking that like the question doesn't really allow for much room there, but what kind of character do you like to build is maybe also dependent on Dungeon Master or Game Master, because I think that for specific types of adventures, it might be more or less cool to play certain characters.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I'm thinking of examples.
yeah, like maybe in our current campaign that we're playing, Adon is definitely like a huge aspect of the world and of the setting, which makes priests, for example, a special class in a way, maybe more not in a classical setting way, where you always have all the kinds of specters, and then you can just choose what you want, play what you want. That would be possible in this campaign, definitely, but it would get another touch, which might make for you to exactly want to play that kind of class, or maybe just go for something completely different. And that's just one example, like I could think of, but there's several more in my.
I also like it, by the way, how we relate to Adon in our campaign, because I'm a firm believer.
Yes.
You believe in the sun, but we might have had some glimpses that the sun might be represented by an old god.
No.
A dead god. We might have, but it might not be true, of course. Might not be true at all. Might not be true at all. But at least you approach faith from quite a different aspect and are not discriminating my way of belief, although I sometimes find you a bit silly. And then we have Audrey, who is very against Adon in a way. Not always that explicit, but she certainly has a bump that she has to get over. Bump in the road.
Yes.
Then we have Gunther, who dislikes religion because they all think they are some kind of fanatics that are not loyal enough to the throne. Thomas might be the odd one out there. I don't know. Faith is not really a great aspect in his life, I think. Although faith in his master, maybe, but yes, not of the religious connotation. So yeah, there are a lot of ways to relate to faith in this campaign.
Yeah, and I think that if you talk about like even if you don't talk about priest class, because of this heavy footmark of Adon on the campaign, even other classes might behave a little bit differently than in another kind of setting where several gods are normal, or where no gods exist, or where magic doesn't exist, or well, these kinds of examples.
Yeah. Okay, we have to get through another 55 of them. So we won't be doing them all. I know this by now. No matter what class I play, I have like 75% chance of having a character be melee focused when in combat. Also, gay disaster, but that's just bleeding over from real life. Yeah, there's the aspect of the melee with some added flavor. Goblin Evoker wizards who love fire. Yeah, I don't have a preferred class though. I like tanky characters. tanks, in a role of the character. Warlock, class comes with its own antagonist. I like that one. Yeah, it's always hard to play Warlock. Transforming mad scientist, whether a wizard, alchemist or druid. I like playing sleuths or detective style characters. Also enjoy hermits who don't understand social culture at all. I can imagine. Fish out of the water town guard. There we have the bandit.
We found one.
Yeah. Battle hippies. I like that one as well.
Yeah.
Battle hippies. Druids, rangers, probably, I think. Yeah. I am really liking my bard so far. I am no combat powerhouse, but a charisma of 20, bardic inspiration, crown of madness and song of rest really help so far. Yes, I can do more, but those are great examples. It's one I had to search as well. Episcopalian, which is a minor Protestant faith church in America. And of course, the all-know Rouge, or Barbarian, which is a rogue spelled wrong, but you always see that. Here we have the Gish again. Warlock, I get all the blasty blasts with the Elder's Blast and beat the piss out of enemies with Pact of the Blade. Bam.
Boom.
I like Paladins the most. I like high charisma, high dexterity. Sassy and hard to hit is definitely my favorite way to play. I play Rangers. I love playing Clerics. Elf and Druids. I honestly don't know why. It just feels right. I like that. Warlocks. I'm not sure why. Maybe because they're a new edition as of 5e. No, they're not really a new edition, but they got into the core book. That's right. But they're just something there. I play Wizards for the versatility. Sorcerer because it just felt that they should be a class that makes new spells. Which triggered me. I think that this person means that because you grab onto magic instead of you should be able to grab on to whole new spells that were never invented, because it is strange to think of magic missile as a spell that you would be able to cast as a sorcerer. I can imagine this would fit the archetype. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Half. I'm trying.
So it's strange that a sorcerer gets this innate magic, but then he casts the exact same magic missile as a wizard does, who has taught himself this from a book. You understand? So it would be more logical that the sorcerer grabs onto raw power and just shapes it in the way he wants it.
Yeah, but that's like you could say that he does something completely, but if the effect is the same as magic missile, why not call it a magic missile?
Yeah, that's the other interpretation. True. Yeah. Monks, because I like to punch things. I like high charisma characters. Changeling sorcerer. I don't know why really. Maybe versatility, but honestly I just like the race and the class. This one was really disturbing. I gave another kind of smiley to this one. Serial killer. I'm a sociopath in real life, so it gives me a chance to live out my darkest fantasies of skinning lesser humans alive.
That's quite dark indeed. But on the other hand, hooray for you, because if it's true, then that's a very good way to deal with that in general.
Yeah. Man.
Rather than playing D&D. Acting out. Sorry.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know what to make. Maybe it's a very cynical person and is having a big laugh behind his computer. You never know. Much depends on the campaign. I was running a typical kill anything that moves, dwarf, barb in the Curse of Strahd, but the game was so cerebral. I switched to a war cleric with some smarts. Cerebral. The game was cerebral. I like that one as well. Intimidating loudmouths. I'm partial to high elf rogue swashbucklers, really nice damage dealers. I call them wishmakers. They are spellcasters who focus all of their effort on picking and casting spells that make their party members phenomenal at things they were already good at. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to enjoy this in 5th edition, so it's only something I do in other systems. This one is pretty short as well. Support.
That's pretty short.
Clerics, rogues, wholesome characters. I like playing wholesome characters.
Nice.
Yeah.
The all-out. If I go for it, go for it. The full month. Yes.
This one is great as well. I think Misha commented on this one as well. Bards, not because I can sing, but for pure fact you can insult people and it does damage.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, Dwarf Warrior. So the list goes on. I think we got the gist of it, except for the top one that says tank.
That's completely different.
Completely different. Yeah, than all the others. Yeah.
Yeah, especially.
So I hope it was still fun the way I did this, because I had no idea how I would get all these answers in, and of course we can never do it with the total dedication to each sentence. I think we got some general knowledge out of this, that you can either play a role, a character, a class, or have this experience with a character that's really great. Well, we summed it up already, and I think that's...
what I really liked about this list was actually there were a lot of good descriptions which made my brain very active and think about things that we lived through or we experienced, but also the versatility. If I think about everything you just said, there are very few classes, races, and just very few things which were not mentioned. I'm trying to think of something specific which was not mentioned. So it's in that sense a good system because people
they were all mentioned. Yeah.
So that's great.
Cerebral means more like psychological horror. So if you're playing a murder hobo in a campaign like that, it's not as much fun, and it's what that person meant, I guess. Yeah, could be. Yeah, I think you're right as well. So yeah. Well, that brings us to the end, really, of our main topic, and then we have 3 questions left. It's 10:45. It will be the longest show yet, probably, but they're very short questions. I just wanted to answer them quickly with you, and then we're going to the end of our episode, and you can all go to bed if you want, or if you're on the other side of the world, get to work, or whatever you want to go to. I always feel that as the show progresses, I get less chaotic and more in depth. Is this true of me? I don't know. I'm hoping.
I'm liking the starts we had so far. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to the exit questions. I have to say 2 of them are about me. So.
Good.
But they're really short, and they're funny. So, the first one is by Donkere Rups. Does alternate Bowen have an evil goatee? No.
Good question.
So it made me think, because I described his hair on his head, and he doesn't have a beard, but I'm not exactly sure how he does not have a beard, but he doesn't have one. I think it's a reflection of Bowen in that way. Yeah.
I might picture you with a goatee from here on out in the next session.
Okay.
Because it does make sense. It's cliche.
Esner N says, what kind of character would you recommend to a first-time player, and what kind of build would you recommend against? Well, this is very interesting, because we just got all this stuff discussed, and this question came from Esner, and he was a bit on the fly, as he said, because he wanted to ask a question on Talking Void, not at all driven by me asking him, not at all.
No.
Seriously, I had nothing to do with this, but I did. And this question came out, and I thought, well, that's great after all these topics, after this topic that we've just discussed. Can you answer it first?
I don't know if I have a really good answer because it also depends on the players that are going to play it. If they play it purely for the combat system, then I might give a different answer than if they play it for the roleplay.
Do you know what my answer would be?
No,
Do whatever you want.
which is a good, a good way. But I know some people who are very. I've once told a friend that we had the show, and just they made such a funny remark. I think it's funny, and maybe it's terrible, but they said, "Yeah, but next time you have the show, then maybe you should skip all the talking and proceed immediately to the playing part." And I said we were playing from the start, and they thought like only the combat screen was what we were going for. So they had no idea how D&D worked.
Maybe go straight to the playing part. Okay, cool.
and exactly, and they once asked me like maybe it would be fun to play, but that gave me the impression that they're more interested in the combat part. And then if you do that and you don't know the game at all, then maybe you should not try to play a wizard as a starting character, for instance.
Yeah,
Maybe.
but you can make it as simple as you want, of course. I always ask, what do you want to play? And then, or I say, for example, if I come with blank sheets or with prepared sheets, I say, this is a difficult class, this is an easy class, who wants what, you know? But most of the time, someone wants to play Harry Potter or Legolas, mixing... thingies here. Thingies, there's another thingies because I couldn't come up with the word. I say, okay, well, let's do that. And I don't discourage. It's because of this one situation where I had a player who had been playing a fighter for 5 years, and he actually wanted to be a spellcaster, but he couldn't be because he was playing this fighter. And that was in our teenage years. I would handle that totally different right now. Because I said, well, then you have to go to an academy and start learning it there, and you could do this in 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons. But if I would have asked now, said, okay, how are we going to handle this? And let's put. But that's because he started with an easy class, the fighter in 2nd edition, which had like 0 rules to them. So and he got stuck with that in a way.
But when you're saying this, I'm also getting this feeling like it also. Like I consider you a great DM and a great game master who also always helps his players if they're in trouble. But if we're talking about people who never played D&D, including Dungeon Master, then I might suggest a few more of the easier classes just to start with to get a feel of the game. But I think it depends.
You don't always get into a 5-year-long campaign as well, of course. That's true. Yeah. But
and if you're a new player and you start out with an experienced dungeon master, then just play what you want because your dungeon master will help you out and he knows the spells. He knows how the rules work. But if the dungeon master is also still searching for how the game works, then start simple and build it up as your knowledge of the game progresses. Unless you're just interested and think it's a fun game anyway, then you can just go for it and then make those mistakes, laugh about it, and just try again.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting.
Okay, so there's still some aspects to it, but in general, I would say let's see what you want to play and let's make that happen.
Yeah, I would agree because
I could instead of builds, I would object, because I spoke with Erik on the previous talking void, is that you might not go for the murder hobo type, you know. Let's just say that. That I might say something about that.
Yeah, but it also depends. Like if you have 4 players who really, really, really want to try to see how much characters they can kill in a game, then just do a murder hobo campaign setting.
Yeah.
zombie style or something like that.
Great Darkest Dungeon, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the answer is a bit longer, and I think now we have come to the stop where we can maybe have a full Talking Void episode dedicated to this one. Last question, Sir Skankalot. I've made this into a question, Sir Skankalot. When do we start slapping Boeing?
That's an insider joke. Yeah, I
When do
think
we?
I think some characters are on the cusp of slapping Bowen right now. Right now.
Why? He's such a gentle guy.
Yeah.
I've done nothing wrong.
No. I like my character would agree.
And if Solving slaps, it's a hard slap, you know.
Yeah, it could be, but I'm not too slappy today, so.
So Skankalot is liking how I bent his question. So. Yeah. So those were the questions for the crew this time.
Nice. And then that happens. Yes.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to our last screen, and we are saying, "Is this the end?" Yes, it is, but not unless we keep talking, of course, and tell you what the next question will be, and that is, what was the best boss you have ever encountered, and why?
That is a nice question as well.
Yeah, right?
Not for now, right?
No, not for now. No. It's for the next one. Next Talking Void.
I could do it for an hour.
I don't dare ask this question on Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition group because right now I have to really do that on the last few days because I can't answer 1,000 questions, include 1,000 answers. Got to go, guys. Good night, everybody, says Donker Rups. Well, we are nearly finished, and thanks for staying up so late.
Yeah.
2 hours, man. So that's the next question. So start answering that question. That would be great. Man, I wanted to say something at the end of the show, but now I forgot.
Something super cool or just random?
Oh yeah, no, I know. If you are going to watch the Precipice of Dreams, we really want to have your Naga Naga. My other group says Naga Naga if they think they are going into mortal danger, because they were once ambushed by 30 Naga who all casted 4 magic missiles at them, and they wiped very quickly. And I'm not sadistic at all, they just played the game wrong. I wanted to say that if you watch the Precipice of Dreams, and please do, of course, but then maybe while you're watching it and you see something that you have a question about, write it down. Give it to us so we can discuss it on Talking Void, which might be the best way to do it anyway. We have a couple of very regular people ask our questions, like Sir Skankalot, Donker Rups, Mireneas, and Esner N, which is okay because I like that they do that. But when you're watching the show, just write down what you want to ask us and ask it. Follow us on the socials, follow us on Twitch, press the follow button, possibly the subscribe button, tell your friends, but don't, please, if you come here, just follow us because it really helps us, and not stay away from that. Instagram, Discord, Facebook, follow us there as well, and let's build this community. It's going great, man.
Yeah, I really like the fact that we had so much reaction and also so much cool examples of how cool the game is.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I hope people will really like this Talking Void episode and watch it back. Who will be on next time? Yeah, I forgot to say that. That's because I normally do this in the Precipice, but I think it is... He's not saying it in chat, but it's Roger. So it's a DM style thing again.
It's going to be party hard.
It's party hard. Some questions for the Dungeon Master? Ask them there.
Yeah. To the makes for party hard.
So did you enjoy the show, Djinn? For last note?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of fun. Good inspiration. And a lot of noise suppression in the beginning, which was very nice.
So Skankerot is saying discussing bosses with 2 GMs.
Nice.
and Roger says it's Shadowlands release day. Uh-oh. There we go. Well, priorities, Roger. Let's see where they go. If Roger is not here in 2 weeks, we all know that World of Warcraft is much more interesting than this thing.
Yeah, it might be a thingy.
Might be a thingy. I'll join you when I'm 60. Wow. Anyway, enough with the shenanigans. Thanks for joining me, Djinn. Thanks for this great show full of laughter and fun. And yeah.
Thank you too. It was a lot of fun again.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. And with that, we are going to the outro. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.